Hi. Making this video in my backyard because there's a lot of people in my house right now and there's just no privacy in there. But it's been a little bit over 3 years since I've gotten progressive visual snow syndrome. And I'm able to remember that exactly because I got it on Christmas Day 2009. So I guess you could say that year I got a Christmas gift from hell. But in this video I wanted to do a few things. First and foremost, I wanted to thank all my subscribers and all the people that have left me nice comments and messages. I've tried to subscribe back to every single one of you because I'm interested in all of your stories. I see this as a group effort. You know, we're all working together to try to get research and recognition for our rare condition. And in particular, I wanted to say thank you to a guy named Timothy S., who sent me the most encouraging message I've ever got on here. He said that he had had visual snow for 40 years, and he had occasionally asked his doctors about it, and he couldn't get any answers from his doctors. And he found out it was a real thing and found out what it was when he stumbled across my YouTube video about it. So that was very encouraging, and it's comments like that that make me feel like I'm accomplishing something here on YouTube. So thanks, Timothy. I tried to send you a message back, but your settings on YouTube were set up so people couldn't send you messages. But I also wanted to tell you, my subscribers, about some other channels here on YouTube that I think deserve a little more attention, and also mention some visual snow websites. Now, the first channel I want to talk about is a channel by a guy named Ben Wigmans. And Ben is somebody who's extremely motivated. He's always doing stuff to try and help us, always writing to doctors and media outlets trying to get attention for us. And his channel here on YouTube is called Visual Snow 1, and he has an excellent Palinopsia simulator. Ben has a background in television production, and he's able to do effects and editing really well. And this Palinopsia simulator, it's one of the few Palinopsia simulators online, and it's also an extremely well-made one. So go and subscribe to his channel because I'm sure that he's at some point going to have more videos in the future. And you know, he also has another channel he uses to make funny videos. It's in Dutch, but some of the videos have English subtitles, so I'll put a link to that as well because you know, you may be depressed about your symptoms and need something to laugh at or entertain you. Now, I also wanted to give a shout out to Matthew Shotton, who I think his YouTube channel is called UK Matt. I'll put a link to his channel below, but he's also a very motivated guy. And when Dr. Shanken was doing the research, Matt's one of the people who made that video getting patients for the testing phase, and undoubtedly some of the patients that Dr. Shanken got to do those scans on were a direct result of Matthew making that video. And because I appreciated that so much, I subscribed to him, and I recommend that all of you subscribe to him as well. And if any of you have subscribed to me and I haven't subscribed back to you, let me know, because I try to subscribe back to everybody. It's just, you know, hard to keep track sometimes, and maybe a few people I overlooked, but I definitely want to subscribe back to all of you as well. Now, let me talk about the Visual Snow websites. If you speak Dutch, Ben Wigmans has a site called visualsnow.nl. It's the only visual snow site for the Netherlands, so check that out. But more importantly, there's a Visual Snow Facebook group that, in my opinion, is the only constructive visual snow forum currently online. Now, there was the Youku forum, which used to be good, but over the years, the administrators of the Youku forum have gotten more and more negligent with it, to the point where now there is no administration. And that's a big problem because forums need an owner, an active administration team there, or else it starts to fall apart. You know, it's just like a house. Just like in physical reality, if you have a house and the owner is never there, the owner is out doing other stuff because he's negligent and he doesn't care, that house is going to start to fall in on itself. You know, it's going to get holes in it, it's going to get infested with termites and rats and raccoons, and eventually that house is not going to serve a good purpose anymore. The only purpose that house will serve is being a place for the pest to hang out at. It's the same thing with online forums. Online forums need an owner there to maintain it, because if there's no administrator at a forum, eventually that forum is going to get infested with trolls. And then it no longer serves the interests of the community. All it serves is the interests of the trolls who are using that forum to get attention for themselves. And that's exactly what happened with Youku. You know, there are a few trolls there, who are using that forum for their own selfish purposes to get attention, and they've basically made it uncomfortable at Youku for most of the people that would want to post there. And if you need a recent example of this, I'll put a link to it below, where there's a new member at Youku. He posts, and one of these few trolls comments to him and threatens him and his family for no reason. Just out of the blue, he gives this like mafia style threat to this guy and says he's going to track his family down, and this stuff is allowed to go on there. You know, nothing happens to this guy. And that, more than anything, explains why the Facebook group has, in the past few years, gotten so active, because it's extremely active at Facebook. I think on the Youku forum it gets maybe one post a day now, one post every few days, but on the Facebook group it gets at least like 20 posts a day when you count like all the comments to the post. I mean, it's just so much more active there, and I mean at least 20. Usually it gets more than that. I've seen some days where it's gotten like 50 or 75 posts. And the way that the Facebook group has, you know, just grown in popularity is partly a direct result of how the Youku forum has been mismanaged over these years. I mean, the Youku forum basically might as well not even exist now. The only constructive thing about the Youku forum are the stickies, especially the introduce yourself sticky and the symptoms we all share sticky. And those stickies were created several years ago, back when that forum was actually being administrated properly. So my recommendation for you, if you want a visual snow forum to post at, read the stickies at Youku for sure. But as far as actually participating in the forum itself, use the Facebook group. It's a night and day difference. Facebook group is so much more friendly, so much more positive and constructive place, because they actually have an administration team that cares. And I'll put a link to that Facebook group below. So what I want you to do right now is log into your Facebook account, go to this link, and request to join this group. And yes, it is a closed group. You do have to request to join, but they will pretty much approve anyone that asks to join, unless you just have a blatant troll account. So you'll probably get approved to join within a few hours, because that's how active the administration team is there to make it a constructive place. I guess the final thing I wanted to talk about in this video is the strides we've made forward in 2012. In 2012, for the first time ever, we have mainstream medical recognition of visual snow syndrome as a real disorder. And we got this as a direct result of Dr. Christoph Schenken and his team of neurologists. You know, it was more than just him, he has a whole team under him. And they gave a presentation at the annual Headache Society meeting about visual snow syndrome. And because he did that presentation, for the first time ever, articles about visual snow syndrome as a real disorder are appearing in mainstream medical publications. And this is so important because before 2012, before these articles, when we would try to explain to our doctors and our parents and our friends and our family that we have visual snow syndrome, you know, and they would kind of be skeptical and be like, well, visual snow syndrome, I've never heard of that. Where are you getting this from? Where did you hear about visual snow syndrome? And all we could say to them was, oh, it's in this online forum. Come to this online forum and read the sticky, you know, of all these people. You know, even though online forums deserve more credibility than they get, as I feel online forums are a valid, you know, source and a valid source of information for us, you know, a lot of people don't take online forums seriously. So when you tell them that, you say, you know, I have this disease and I heard about it in this online forum, you know, they tend to write you off and they tend to kind of dismiss you based on that. So it's important now, such a step forward, that we have these articles in mainstream medical publications. So now we don't have to say, I got this from an online forum. When they ask us about visual snow syndrome, we can point to these articles in, you know, Clinical Psychiatry News, you know, Neurology Journal. You can point them to Dr. Christoph Schenken, who's a prestigious neurologist at UCSF. So, you know, we finally have real neurologists and real doctors backing us on this. And that's a huge step forward. And I'll put links to these articles below. You know, I'm sure most of you have already seen the articles because they show up pretty highly on Google, which is another great thing. You know, you type into visual snow into Google, you can get a few of these articles saying that visual snow syndrome is real. But I'll link to them anyway. So that's it for this video. In 2013, I'm going to try to be more active with my channel. I've kind of been procrastinating on it, but I'm definitely going to try to be more active and make some more videos. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and that your symptoms don't get too bad. So